stop. Don't scroll. Don't blink. My beloved child, today is December 30th, and God has been trying to contact you. You keep skipping. 10 seconds left. That's all you have. 10 seconds before the call goes to someone else. Before the door closes. Before heaven stops reaching. Archangel Michael is standing in the room with you right now, wings lifted, sword pointed down, not to threaten you, but to cut the cord that's been choking your destiny. You feel it, don't you? That pull in your chest, that heaviness behind your eyes, that sudden stillness you can't explain. That's not anxiety. That's confirmation. This message has your name on it. Not a metaphor, your actual name, written in the book, Heaven Opened Today. If you scroll now, you will lose both of them, God and Michael, forever. This isn't about fear. It's about fate. Something massive is moving toward you right now, and you're standing at the exact second it arrives. Stay with me till the end, because before this message is over, I will tell you why the call is coming now, and what door just unlocked in the unseen. Don't skip. Don't move. Your whole future hinges on the next breath you take. My beloved child, I need you to breathe with me for a second, because what I'm about to say is going to feel like I've been reading your diary, like I've been sitting in your kitchen at 3 a.m. when you couldn't sleep, like I've been standing in the room when you whispered that prayer you never told anyone about. You've been carrying something heavy, haven't you? Not the kind of heavy people can see. The kind that sits on your chest when you wake up at 2:17 inches the morning and the house is too quiet and your mind is too loud. The kind that makes you wonder if anyone sees you anymore. I see you. God sees you. And Archangel Michael has been standing guard over your life, even when you thought heaven had gone silent. Let me tell you what's been happening in your world, my child. You've been sitting at a table that feels too big. There's a chair across from you that used to be filled and now it just sits there, empty, like a wound that won't close. You still set the coffee out the way they liked it. You still turn to say something, and then you remember, and the silence swallows you whole. The holidays came and went, didn't they? Everyone else's house was loud music, laughter, grandkids running through the hall. But yours? Quiet. So quiet you could hear your own heartbeat, and it felt louder than any celebration you've ever known. You smiled when people asked how you were. You said, "I'm fine." But inside? Inside, my child, you were screaming. Because loneliness isn't just being alone. It's being surrounded by a world that's moving forward while you feel like you've been left behind, standing still in a life you don't recognize anymore. And then there's the money, isn't there? Oh, my beloved, I know about the bills. I know about the envelope you opened last week that made your stomach drop. I know about standing in the pharmacy, looking at the prescription, doing the math in your head. Can I afford this? And groceries this month. I know about the rent that keeps climbing while your income stays frozen. I know about waiting for that social security check, like it's the only lifeline between you and drowning. The bills don't feel like paper anymore, do they? They feel like enemies, like accusations, like proof that you're failing, even though you've worked your whole life and done everything right. You've been strong for so long, my child. Strong for your kids, strong for your spouse, strong for people who never even noticed. But now you're tired. Bone tired. Soul tired. The kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. You wake up and your body aches in places you didn't even know you had. You go to the doctor and they run the tests and they say the words you've started to dread. We'll keep monitoring it. Monitoring. Waiting. Watching something you can't control slowly take pieces of you. And you smile. You nod. You say, "Okay, thank you, doctor." But when you get to the car, you sit there for a long time before you turn the key. Because you're tired of being strong. You're tired of pretending. You're tired of fighting a battle nobody else can see. And here's the part that breaks my heart. My beloved child, you've been praying. Oh, you've been praying. In the mornings, in the middle of the night, in the car on the way to nowhere. You've been whispering the same prayer over and over, God, please, just please. But nothing moved, nothing changed. And slowly, quietly, without even meaning to, you learned to expect disappointment. You learned to lower your expectations so the fall wouldn't hurt as much. You learned to stop hoping for miracles because hope, my child, started to feel like a setup for heartbreak. There's a name you still whisper, isn't there? A face you still see when you close your eyes. Someone who's gone but not gone from your heart. You talk to them sometimes, out loud, when no one's around. You ask them questions. You tell them about your day. You say, I miss you, and the words hang in the air like they're waiting for an answer that never comes. And the grief? It doesn't get smaller. It just gets quieter. It learns to live inside you like a second heartbeat. You've started to wonder, haven't you, if this is just how life is now, if this is all there is, waiting, surviving, getting through one more day, and then another, and then another. You've started to think that maybe you missed your moment. Maybe the best parts are behind you. Maybe God moved on to someone younger, someone stronger, someone who didn't get so tired. But listen to me, my beloved child. Listen. Every single thing I just said, every tear, every sleepless night, every whispered prayer, every moment you thought you were invisible, heaven recorded it. Not one tear hit the ground without being caught. Not one prayer dissolved into silence without being heard. Not one moment of your pain went unnoticed. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not a leftover, a has-been, or a mistake. You, my child, are a chosen one. And I need you to understand something that's going to change the way you see everything. Your pain is not proof that you're forgotten. Your pain is proof that you've been targeted. You've been under spiritual attack not because you're weak, but because you're dangerous. Dangerous to the enemy. Dangerous to the forces that wanted to break you, bury you, silence you, because you carry something in your spirit that the kingdom of darkness has been trying to extinguish for years. You think you've been abandoned? No, my child. You've been preserved. God didn't forget you. God protected you. He kept you alive through the valley. He kept your heart beating when grief tried to stop it. He kept your mind intact when loneliness tried to shatter it. He kept your spirit burning when despair tried to drown it. Because you have an assignment. You have a destiny. You have a calling that hasn't expired just because you got older or because life got hard. In fact, my beloved, everything you've survived was preparation. Every battle you fought in silence built a strength in you that heaven is about to use. Every tear you cried in secret became a seed that heaven is about to harvest. Every night you made it through became a testimony that heaven is about to release. You didn't survive by accident. You survived by design. And now, right now, today, December 30th, the season is shifting. Don't leave. Don't scroll away. Because in just a moment, I'm going to explain the pattern you've been living in, the cycle that's been repeating, the delay that's been blocking you, and I'm going to tell you why it's ending, why today is different, why this message found you, why the call from heaven is breaking through the static right now. Stay with me, my child, because what comes next is the part heaven has been waiting to tell you, the part that changes everything. My beloved child, listen to me now. I need you to hear something heaven has been trying to tell you for years. Your suffering was never random. It was never punishment. And it was never because you weren't enough. You've been carrying a weight that didn't belong to you. A burden you didn't create. A delay you couldn't understand. And the whole time, you blamed yourself. You thought, if I had prayed harder, if I had been smarter, if I had just done it differently, maybe I wouldn't be here. But my child, that's the lie. That's the voice that's been twisting your truth since the beginning. Let me show you what heaven sees. When God marks a soul for something extraordinary, resistance rises. Not because you're weak, because you're dangerous to the darkness. You think the delay meant God forgot you? No. The delay was protection. The pit wasn't the end, it was the passage. Joseph sat in that prison, betrayed by his own blood, thrown away by the people who should have loved him most. And every day he must have wondered, God, did you forget my name? But heaven didn't forget. Heaven was positioning, because what Joseph walked into next required a version of him the pit had to shape. The palace couldn't hold the boy. It needed the man the dungeon made. You've been in your own pit, haven't you, my child? Maybe it's been financial. The bills piling up, the phone calls you're afraid to answer, the shame of asking for help again. Maybe it's been relational. The loneliness that aches at 2 a.m., the silence where laughter used to be, the empty chair at the table. Maybe it's been physical. The body that doesn't move like it used to, the pain that won't leave, the doctor appointments that steal your hope one result at a time. And you've been asking, why God? Why me? What did I do to deserve this? But hear me now. You didn't do anything. You were chosen for something. Archangel Michael is standing beside me, and he's showing me your timeline. I see the nights you cried alone. I see the prayers you whispered when you thought no one was listening. I see the moments you almost gave up but didn't. And Michael says this: that endurance wasn't luck. It was training. Because what's coming for you next requires strength you didn't have 3 years ago. It requires discernment you didn't have 2 years ago. It requires a level of spiritual authority you couldn't carry until now. The pressure wasn't there to break you. It was there to prepare you. Think about Daniel, thrown into a den of lions because he wouldn't stop praying. The king loved him, but the system hated him. Sound familiar? You've been surrounded by people who smiled to your face and worked against you behind your back. You've been in rooms where you were the only one who wouldn't compromise. You've stood alone when it would have been easier to sit down and shut up. And it cost you. It cost you relationships. It cost you opportunities. It cost you peace. But my beloved child, hear me. The lions were not your finish. They were your proof. Proof that even when the system turns on you, heaven shuts the mouths of what was sent to devour you. Daniel walked out of that den untouched. Not because he was lucky, because he was covered. And so are you. You've been fighting battles nobody sees. Spiritual warfare that doesn't show up on X-rays. Attacks that don't leave bruises. The kind of exhaustion that has nothing to do with how much sleep you got. And people around you, they don't get it. They say, just stay positive. Just pray more. Just have more faith. As if you haven't been praying till your knees ache. As if you haven't been believing when everything around you screamed it was over. But let me tell you what Elijah teaches us. Elijah called down fire from heaven. He stood against 450 prophets of Baal and didn't blink. He was bold. He was anointed. He was unstoppable. And then he ran. He sat under a tree and begged God to let him die. I'm done, he said. I can't do this anymore. And you know what God did? God didn't shame him. God didn't lecture him. God fed him, sent an angel with bread and water. Let him sleep. Let him rest. And then, only then, God spoke. Because exhaustion isn't failure, my child. It's a signal that you've been carrying a load you were never meant to carry alone. And now, after all this time, Archangel Michael is standing in the gap and saying one word: enough. Enough of the wait. Enough of the delay. Enough of the isolation. Enough of the confusion. Enough of the warfare that's been draining your strength and stealing your joy. Michael says, I'm stepping in now. Not because they earned it, because it's time. My beloved child, you need to understand something. The reason your breakthrough has felt so far away isn't because you're unworthy. It's because what's coming is so massive that the enemy tried to stop it before it ever arrived. You've been under spiritual attack, not random struggle. There's a difference. Struggle is part of life. But attack happens when hell sees your assignment and panics. When the kingdom of darkness realizes you're about to step into something that will dismantle its plans. When your rising threatens the very system designed to keep you down, that's when the resistance gets vicious. That's when doors slam that should have opened. That's when people turn on you for no reason. That's when your health, your finances, your relationships all come under fire at the same time. It's not coincidence. It's coordination. But here's what the enemy didn't count on. You're still here. Still standing. Still breathing. Still believing, even when belief felt like lifting a mountain. And that, my child, is why heaven is moving now. Because there's a courtroom in the unseen. A place where cases are heard. Where verdicts are handed down. Where justice doesn't take years. It takes a moment. And your case just got called. Archangel Michael is the lead witness. Jesus is your advocate. And the evidence? Every tear you cried in secret. Every night you didn't sleep. Every time you chose kindness when you had every right to be bitter. Every time you forgave when you should have walked away. Every time you gave when you had nothing left. Heaven recorded it all. And the verdict is about to be read. But my beloved child, I need you to stay with me. Because what I'm about to tell you next will change everything you thought you knew about your future. The courtroom is in session. The gavel is about to fall. And the sentence isn't punishment. It's restoration. Don't scroll. Don't move. Because the next part, the divine verdict, is when you finally understand why the call came today, December 30th, and not a day sooner. Stay with me. Your vindication is seconds away. My beloved child, the courtroom of heaven is open, right now. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now. And I need you to see what I'm seeing. The books are open. The records are speaking. Every tear you cried has been counted. Every betrayal has been archived. Every silent scream, every lonely night, every moment you thought no one was watching, it's all there. Written in ink that doesn't fade. Recorded by angels who never sleep. And Archangel Michael is standing in the center of that courtroom, not as your judge, but as your advocate. His sword isn't raised to strike. It's pointed down, cutting the chains that have been wrapped around your ankles for years, severing the cords that tied you to people who drained you, slicing through the lies that told you this was all you deserved. My child, heaven has been building a case, and today the verdict is being read. Listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you will make you weep, not from sadness, but from relief. The one who used you, heaven saw it. The one who smiled in your face and spoke poison behind your back, heaven recorded it. The family member who only calls when they need money, who drains you dry and disappears until the next crisis, heaven has their number. The co-worker who minimized your ideas, took credit for your work, made you feel small in rooms where you should have been celebrated, heaven was in that room too. The system that overlooked you, the institution that forgot your name, the process that kept passing you by, while others who did less got more. Heaven kept the receipts. You thought no one noticed. You thought maybe you imagined it. You thought maybe you were too sensitive, too emotional, too much. But my beloved child, you weren't imagining anything. You were being tested, and they were being measured. And now, the scales are tipping. Not because you cursed them, not because you plotted revenge, but because heaven doesn't let injustice sit forever. There is a season for mercy, and there is a season for truth, and we have entered the season of exposure. What was hidden will be revealed, not by you, by time, not by your hand, by the hand of God. The masks people wore around you, they're cracking. The personas they built to hide who they really are, they're crumbling. And soon, sooner than you think, the world will see what you've known all along. That they were never as kind as they pretended, never as loyal as they claimed, never as innocent as they appeared. The truth has a way of surfacing, my child, and when it does, you won't have to say a word. Your silence will be louder than any accusation. Your peace will be more devastating than any revenge. Because while they're scrambling to explain themselves, you'll be walking into the next season heaven prepared for you. But let me be clear about something. This isn't about punishment for the sake of pain. This is about accountability. There's a difference. Revenge says, I want them to hurt like I hurt. Justice says, I want the truth to be told. And heaven is in the business of justice, not chaos. So no, your enemies won't be struck down by lightning. They won't lose everything overnight. But they will face the consequences of their choices. They will reap what they sowed. They will walk the road they paved. And my beloved child, you don't need to watch. You don't need to keep tabs. You don't need to check their social media to see if karma caught up. Because your job isn't to monitor their fall. Your job is to rise. And that's exactly what's happening right now. While they're being exposed, you're being restored. While they're losing credibility, you're gaining favor. While their foundation shakes, yours is being rebuilt. Let me tell you what the verdict says. What was stolen will be returned. Not just returned, restored. Peace that was taken, it's coming back. Dignity that was stripped, it's being handed back to you with interest. Provision that was blocked, the floodgates are opening. Opportunities that were stolen, they're circling back. But this time they're better, cleaner, aligned with who you are now. Relationships that were severed, some will be healed, others will stay buried, and you'll have the discernment to know which is which. Because part of this verdict, my child, is that you're no longer operating on confusion. You're no longer second-guessing your gut. You're no longer letting people gaslight you into doubting what you know is true. Heaven is giving you clarity. Sharp, undeniable, spirit-led clarity. You'll know who's real and who's performing. You'll know what's for you and what's a distraction. You'll know when to speak and when your silence is the most powerful thing in the room. That's part of the restoration. Not just getting back what you lost, but becoming someone who can't be played again. And let me tell you something else, the verdict says. Those who played with your name will face truth, not chaos. You know who I'm talking about. The ones who whispered about you. The ones who spread rumors, twisted your words, made you the villain in a story you didn't even know you were in. The ones who damaged your reputation while pretending to care about you. Heaven heard every word. And now, those words are going to turn. Not because you defended yourself. Not because you argued or explained or begged people to believe you. But because truth doesn't need a lawyer. Truth just needs time. And time is up. The people who believed the lies, they're about to see the receipts. The people who thought you were the problem, they're about to meet the real issue face to face. And my beloved child, you won't have to say, I told you so. Your life will say it for you. Your peace will say it. Your progress will say it. The way you move forward while they stay stuck will say it louder than any words ever could. But here's the part that breaks my heart and heals it at the same time. God saw it all. Every moment you cried alone in the bathroom. Every time you smiled through the pain because you didn't want to burden anyone. Every night you lay awake wondering if you were going crazy, if you were making it all up, if you were the problem. God was there, recording, watching, feeling it with you. And today God is saying this. You will not beg for love anymore. You will not chase people who don't choose you. You will not shrink yourself to fit into spaces that were never built for you. You will not apologize for taking up room. You will not lower your voice to make others comfortable. Because the verdict isn't just about what others will face. It's about what you will receive. And what you're receiving is dignity. The kind that doesn't need validation. The kind that doesn't flinch when people walk away. The kind that knows, deeply knows that you are loved, seen, and valued by the only one whose opinion actually matters. God will not ask you to beg, not for love, not for peace, not for provision. What's yours is coming, and it's coming with a force that will make up for every delay, every closed door, every no that felt like rejection. Now listen to me closely, my child. I know you've been wondering when. When will things change? When will the breakthrough come? When will you finally feel like you're not just surviving, but actually living? And here's what Archangel Michael just whispered to me. It's already started. You might not see it yet, but in the unseen, the gears are turning. The pieces are moving. The doors are unlocking. And the first sign, the very first thing that will shift, is coming faster than you think. Stay with me, because in the next part, I'm going to tell you exactly what changes first. Is it money? Is it health? Is it relationships? And more importantly, how will you recognize it when it arrives? Because some blessings come loud, but this one comes quiet. And if you're not paying attention, you'll miss the moment heaven starts rewriting your story. Don't scroll, don't move, because what I'm about to reveal in the next section will show you the exact sign to look for, and it's happening in the next 72 hours. Stay with me, beloved. Your vindication isn't theory. It's motion, and you're about to feel it. My beloved child, the verdict has been read. The courtroom of heaven has spoken, and now the page turns. You feel it already, don't you? That shift in the air, that stirring in your spirit, that quiet knowing that something is different this time. You're not imagining it. December 30th is not just another day on the calendar. It's a marker, a line drawn in the invisible, a moment when your spirit crosses from the old season into the new. And Archangel Michael is standing at that line, holding the door open, saying, "Step through. It's time. Listen to me carefully, my child. What's coming for you now is not slow. It's not gradual. It's not a long, winding road to maybe. No, what's coming is sudden. A door you didn't knock on opens. A message you stopped waiting for arrives. Help from a direction you wrote off shows up, and when it does, you'll know. You'll feel it in your chest before your mind catches up. You'll take a breath and think, this is it. This is what heaven was holding for me. Because this new season doesn't tiptoe in, my beloved child. It breaks through. Archangel Michael says, tell them the waiting is over. The upgrade has begun. And I need you to understand what that means. Not in vague spiritual language, but in the real places where your life has been breaking. 3 things are shifting right now as you listen. 3 upgrades heaven is installing in your timeline, and I want you to write this down. Speak it out loud. Let it settle into your spirit like a seed finding soil. First, clarity replaces confusion. My child, you've been walking in a fog. Decisions that used to feel easy now feel impossible. Directions that used to be clear now feel clouded. You've been second-guessing yourself, doubting your instincts, wondering if you can trust your own voice anymore. But that fog? It wasn't you losing your mind. It was spiritual interference. A smokescreen thrown up by the enemy to keep you disoriented, stuck, spinning in circles. But Archangel Michael just stepped into that fog with his sword drawn, and with one swing, he's cutting through it. The confusion lifts, the clarity returns, and suddenly, you know what to do next. You know who to trust. You know what to release and what to hold. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's a quiet, settled knowing that rises in your chest and says, this is the way. Walk in it. You're going to wake up one morning soon, and the decision that's been tormenting you for months will suddenly feel obvious. The path that seemed impossible will suddenly feel clear. The choice you've been avoiding will suddenly feel easy. That's not you finally figuring it out, my child. That's heaven downloading the answer straight into your spirit. Clarity replaces confusion. Say it with me. Clarity replaces confusion. Second, provision replaces pressure. My beloved child, I know the weight you've been carrying, the bills that don't add up, the bank account that runs dry before the month runs out, the phone calls you don't answer because you already know what they're calling about, the shame of needing help, the exhaustion of always being behind. You've been living under pressure. Financial pressure, relational pressure, the kind of pressure that steals your sleep and sits on your chest like a stone. But heaven sees it, and heaven says, enough. Provision is moving toward you now, not because you hustled harder, not because you finally got it right, but because it's time. Archangel Michael says, the block is breaking, the flow is starting, and I need you to prepare yourself for how this provision shows up, because it won't look like you thought. It might come as an unexpected check in the mail, a debt forgiven that you thought you'd carry forever, a door opening at work you didn't even apply for, a conversation that leads to an opportunity you never saw coming, a gift from someone who says, I don't know why, but I felt like I was supposed to give this to you. That's not luck, my child. That's assignment. Heaven is rerouting resources in your direction, moving people into position, shifting circumstances behind the scenes. And when it lands, you won't be able to take credit for it. You'll just stand there, tears in your eyes, and whisper, God, you didn't forget me. No, my beloved, He never did. The pressure you've been under wasn't punishment. It was the labor pain before the birth. And the birth is happening now. Provision replaces pressure. Say it. Provision replaces pressure. Third, protection replaces fear. My child, you've been living afraid. Maybe you don't call it that. Maybe you call it anxiety, worry, stress, being realistic. But underneath all of it is fear. Fear that it's going to fall apart. Fear that you're going to lose what little you have left. Fear that the other shoe is going to drop. Fear that the sickness will come back. Fear that the people you love will leave. Fear that you're running out of time. And that fear has been a thief. It's stolen your peace, your joy, your ability to rest, your ability to hope. But Archangel Michael is stepping between you and that fear right now. And he's saying, not anymore. Because this new season you're entering is wrapped in protection, divine covering, angelic assignment, a shield you can't see but you'll feel. You're going to notice it first in the small things, the accident that almost happened but didn't, the conflict that was brewing but suddenly dissolved, the bad news you were bracing for that never came, and you'll start to realize, something is watching over me, something is intervening, something is running interference between me and the chaos. That's not paranoia, my child. That's perception. You're beginning to see what's been true all along. You are not walking this road alone. You are not undefended. You are not left to fend for yourself in a world that's trying to devour you. You are covered by blood, by covenant, by the very presence of God Himself. And when fear tries to creep back in, and it will try, you're going to feel a hand on your shoulder, a whisper in your spirit, a verse that drops into your mind at exactly the right moment. And you'll know, that's Michael, that's Jesus, that's the Father saying, I've got you, you're safe, keep walking. Protection replaces fear. Say it with me. Protection replaces fear. My beloved child, do you feel it now? The shift, the lightness, the way your chest doesn't feel as tight as it did 10 minutes ago, that's not relief, that's activation. The new season isn't coming. It's here, right now, as you listen, the upgrade is installing. Clarity is breaking through the fog. Provision is moving into position. Protection is wrapping around your life like a cloak. And December 30th, this day, this moment, is the marker. The moment you stepped across the line, the moment heaven said, now, But my child, I need you to hear me closely, because the miracle doesn't just arrive. There's a posture you must hold, a way you must receive what's coming, because heaven is opening the door, but you have to walk through it. And in the next part, I'm going to tell you exactly how. The guidance, the steps, the divine instructions Archangel Michael is giving you for this new season, how to cooperate with the upgrade, how to protect what's being given, how to step into the fullness of what heaven just unlocked. Don't scroll, don't move, because what I'm about to tell you is the difference between knowing the door is open and actually walking through it. Stay with me. Your miracle is waiting on the other side. My beloved child, now listen very carefully, because what I'm about to tell you will determine whether this breakthrough reaches you or passes you by. Heaven has released the blessing. The door is open. The courtroom has ruled in your favor. But here's what most people miss. An open door still requires you to walk through it. And the way you walk into this new season will determine how much of it you actually receive. Archangel Michael is standing beside me right now, and he's giving me 3 anchors. 3 simple instructions that will align your spirit with what heaven just released. These aren't complicated. You don't need a theology degree. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be willing. So stay with me. Don't scroll, because these next few minutes will teach you how to step into the season you've been praying for. First anchor, stay still before you step. My child, I know you've been waiting so long that the moment you feel something shift, your first instinct is to move, to do something, to fix it, to control it, to make sure it doesn't slip away. But hear me now. The enemy of this season isn't slowness. It's panic. You've been in survival mode so long that you've forgotten what it feels like to rest in the promise, to let God be God, to trust that what's yours will find you without you having to chase it down, manipulate it, or beg for it. Michael says this: tell them to stay still before they step. No panic decisions, no desperate moves. No selling your peace for the illusion of speed, because when you move in panic, you attract the wrong things, the wrong people, the wrong opportunities, the wrong version of what you actually need. But when you move from a place of stillness, from clarity, from alignment, from trust, you step into the right doors at the right time with the right people. I'm not saying don't act. I'm saying don't react. There's a difference. Action comes from peace. Reaction comes from fear. And this new season requires you to move like someone who knows heaven has already handled it. So, my beloved child, here's what I want you to do today. Sit down, take a breath, put your hand on your chest and say out loud, I don't have to rush. What's mine will not miss me. Say it again. I don't have to rush. What's mine will not miss me. Feel that settle into your bones, because the moment you stop running, heaven can finally catch up to you. Second anchor, clean the channel. Now, my child, I want you to hear this next part with your spirit, not just your mind. You've been asking God for a breakthrough, and God is ready to send it. But there's clutter in the channel, not sin, not failure, just clutter. Old energies, old agreements, old stuff, literal and spiritual, that's clogging the flow. And heaven is saying, before I pour the new wine, clean out the old wineskin. This doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be dramatic. But it does have to be intentional. Here's what Michael showed me. One small cleanup creates symbolic alignment. Maybe it's a drawer you've been avoiding. Maybe it's your wallet full of old receipts, expired cards, things you don't even remember putting in there. Maybe it's your phone contacts you haven't talked to in years, apps you don't use, messages you've been too tired to delete. Maybe it's your inbox, hundreds of emails screaming for attention, weighing you down every time you open it. Pick one, just one, and clean it out. Not because God cares about your junk drawer, but because you need to practice letting go. You need to prove to your own spirit that you're ready for the new by releasing your grip on the old. It's a physical act with a spiritual effect. When you clean that space, you're saying to heaven, I'm making room, I'm ready, I'm open. And my beloved child, you'd be shocked how much shifts when you do something that simple, because it's not about the drawer, it's about the posture, the willingness to participate in your own breakthrough. So today, before the sun goes down, pick one small thing and clean it. Throw away what's expired. Let go of what no longer serves you. And watch how that act of obedience opens a valve in the unseen. Third anchor, guard the mouth. Now here's the one that's going to save you the most pain, my child. And I need you to hear me clearly. Stop announcing your next chapter to people who clapped for your pain. Read that again. Stop announcing your next chapter to people who clapped for your pain. You've been so starved for support, so desperate to be seen, that you've been sharing your dreams with people who were never meant to carry them. And every time you do, something leaks. Your energy, your clarity, your momentum. Not because they cursed you, but because they doubted you. And doubt is contagious. You can feel it, can't you? You share something vulnerable, something precious, something God whispered to you in the night, and the person you tell looks at you with that look that says, sure, honey, that's nice, but let's be realistic. And suddenly, the thing that felt so alive inside you feels foolish, small, impossible. That's not God's voice. That's the voice of someone who gave up on their own dreams and can't stand to watch you believe in yours. Michael says this, tell them to guard the mouth. The next season is sacred. Not everyone gets a front row seat. This doesn't mean you become cold. It doesn't mean you cut people off without cause. It means you become selective. Selective about who gets access to your heart. Selective about who gets to speak into your future. Selective about who you allow in the room when God is doing something new. Because, my beloved child, there are people in your life who love you, but they can't go where you're going. And that's okay. You can love them from a distance. You can pray for them. You can wish them well. But you do not have to keep giving them access to the most tender parts of your soul. So here's what I want you to do. Make a list just in your mind. You don't have to write it down, of the people who drain you. The ones who always have a but. The ones who bring up your past every time you talk about your future. The ones who need you to stay small so they can feel big. And then, gently, lovingly, with no drama and no announcement, create space. Stop calling first. Stop sharing first. Stop pouring into people who leak. This isn't about revenge. This is about stewardship. You're stewarding a blessing right now that's too valuable to waste on people who won't honor it. Guard the mouth. Protect the vision. And let God bring you the people who are assigned to your next chapter, not the ones who are attached to your last one. The healing power of no. My child, I need to speak to something that's been weighing on you. Guilt. You've been carrying guilt for setting boundaries. Guilt for saying no. Guilt for not being available every time someone needs you. Guilt for choosing rest over performance. And I need you to hear this from heaven. Guilt is not God's voice. Let me say that again. Guilt is not God's voice. God convicts. God corrects. God redirects. But God does not guilt you into exhaustion. That voice that says, if you were a good Christian, you'd say yes. If you really loved them, you'd show up. If you had more faith, you wouldn't be so tired. That's not heaven. That's religion. That's people-pleasing. That's the enemy using your kindness against you. And it ends today. Because this new season requires you to know the difference between compassion and codependency, between love and enabling, between being generous and being used. You can love someone deeply and still say no. You can care about their struggle and still refuse to carry it for them. You can pray for their breakthrough and still protect your peace. This doesn't make you selfish. It makes you wise. And my beloved child, God uses wisdom too. God doesn't just honor your faith. God honors your boundaries. So, if you need to say no to that request, say no. If you need to skip that event, skip it. If you need to let that call go to voicemail, let it go. Your worth is not determined by how available you are to everyone else. Your worth was settled on a cross 2,000 years ago, and nothing you do or don't do will ever change that. Faith practice, presence over performance. Now, my child, let's talk about prayer, because I know some of you have been so tired that even prayer feels like work. You used to pray for hours. You used to feel the presence so strongly, but lately it's been hard to find the words, hard to stay focused, hard to feel anything at all. And the enemy whispers, "See? You've lost it. You're not close to God anymore." But that's a lie. Intimacy with God isn't measured by how long you pray. It's measured by how present you are. So here's what Michael is telling me to tell you. One short prayer, morning and night. That's it. No performance. No trying to sound holy. No begging or pleading or bargaining. Just presence. Just you and God. Maybe it's 5 words. God, I trust you today. Maybe it's 10. Thank you for keeping me. I'm here. I'm listening. Maybe it's just sitting in silence, hand on your heart, breathing in the presence. That's enough. Because God doesn't need your eloquence. God wants your attention. And when you give God your attention, even for 60 seconds, heaven moves. Practical wisdom. God uses doctors too. My beloved child, let me say something that needs to be said. Faith doesn't mean ignoring your body. Faith doesn't mean skipping your medication because you're believing for a miracle. Faith doesn't mean refusing to go to the doctor because you're trusting God. God gave you a body. God gave you doctors. God gave you medicine. And using them isn't a lack of faith, it's wisdom. If you're in pain, go to the doctor. If you're prescribed medication, take it. If you need rest, rest. If you need help, ask for it. There's no badge of honor for suffering in silence. There's no extra credit in heaven for refusing help. Jesus didn't heal people and then tell them, "Now don't ever see a physician again." He healed them and sent them back into life, whole, healthy, equipped. And sometimes healing comes through a prescription. Sometimes breakthrough comes through therapy. Sometimes the miracle is that you finally let someone help you carry the weight. So if you've been putting off that appointment, make it. If you've been skipping your meds because you feel like you should be stronger, take them. If you've been too proud to ask for help, my child, this is your sign. Ask. God isn't offended by your need. God is honored by your trust. And trust looks like taking the next wise step, even when it's not dramatic, even when it's not spiritual, even when it's just human. My beloved child, you've received the anchors. Stay still before you step. Clean the channel. Guard the mouth. Set boundaries without guilt. Pray with presence, not performance. And use the wisdom God gave you, including doctors, rest, and help. These aren't burdens. These are tools. And when you use them, you align yourself with the breakthrough that's already been released. Don't scroll. Stay with me. Because what comes next is the final word, the one that seals everything. Heaven just spoke over your life. Your new season is here, and you're about to step into it fully. Spiritualized CTA, block, comment, share, subscribe as faith acts. My beloved child, before we go any further, I need you to do something. Not for me, for you. Because what I'm about to reveal in the next part requires your spirit to be fully aligned with what heaven is releasing right now. And alignment doesn't happen by accident. It happens through agreement. So here's what I need you to do. Right now, yes, right this second, I want you to go to the comments and type one word, Amen. That's it. Just Amen. But understand what you're doing when you type it. You're not leaving a comment. You're making a declaration. You're telling heaven, I'm still here. I didn't scroll. I didn't skip. And I'm ready to receive what you're about to release. That word, amen, it's not casual. It means, so be it. It means, I agree. It means, let it be done. And when you type it, something shifts in the atmosphere around you. The angels that have been waiting for your response, they move. The blessing that's been hovering over your life, it descends. The door that's been cracked open, it swings wide. Type amen right now. Do it before your mind talks you out of it. Do it before doubt creeps in. Do it while your spirit is still alert and your heart is still open, because this is your agreement with heaven. This is how you tell God, yes, I receive. Yes, I believe. Yes, I'm ready. Go ahead, type it now. I'll wait. And as you type those 4 letters, I want you to feel something, a release, a lightness, a sense that something just unlocked, because it did. Now, my child, there's something else I need you to understand. This message didn't find you by accident. You didn't stumble onto this video randomly. You were led here, drawn here, pulled here by a force you can't see but your spirit recognizes. And if this message reached you, it means there's someone else in your life who needs to hear it too. Someone who's been silent. Someone who's been struggling alone. Someone who's been carrying a weight they don't talk about. You know who I'm talking about, don't you? Their face just flashed in your mind. That's not coincidence. That's the Holy Spirit showing you who needs this word right now. And here's what I need you to do. Share this message with them. Not tomorrow. Not when you have time. Right now. Because timing matters in the spirit realm. What you're hearing today, December 30th, is a timed word. It's not meant to sit in your phone for weeks. It's meant to move, to spread, to reach the people heaven has already marked for breakthrough. And when you share it, something powerful happens. What you release comes back to you. That's not just a nice saying. It's a spiritual law. When you become a conduit for someone else's miracle, you activate your own. When you pass the blessing forward, heaven doubles it and sends it back. When you obey the nudge to share, you're not just helping them. You're positioning yourself for the next level of what God wants to do in your life. So share this video with one person. Just one. The one whose name is pressing on your heart right now. Send it in a text. Drop it in a message. Don't overthink it. Just say, I don't know why, but I felt like you needed to hear this today. That's all. Heaven will do the rest. Now, my beloved child, there's one more thing, and this one is for you, not for anyone else. I want you to do something that might feel a little unfamiliar, but trust me, it works. Place your hand over your chest, right over your heart. Feel it beating under your palm. That rhythm, that steady thump, 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 that's life. That's proof you're still here, still breathing, still standing after everything you've been through. Now close your eyes if you can, and take a slow, deep breath, in through your nose. Hold it for a second, then let it out through your mouth. Good. Now, with your hand still on your heart, I want you to say 3 things out loud. Not in your head, out loud. Say them with me. I receive peace. Say it again. I receive peace. Feel those words settle into your chest like a warm blanket on a cold night. Now say, I receive clarity. 1, 1, 1, 1. Again. I receive clarity. Let that word clarity cut through the fog that's been clouding your mind for months. And finally, say, I receive help. One more time, I receive help. Because you don't have to do this alone anymore, my child. Help is here. Help is standing beside you right now. Help has a name, Archangel Michael. And he's not leaving. Now take one more deep breath. And as you exhale, I want you to feel something lift off your shoulders. That weight you've been carrying, the worry, the fear, the exhaustion, It doesn't belong to you anymore. You just handed it over, and heaven just took it. Do you feel that? That lightness? That space where the heaviness used to be? That's real. That's not your imagination. That's the beginning of your shift. Now, my beloved child, here's your confirmation. Over the next 7 days, from now until January 6th, you're going to see a sign. It's going to be small, but unmistakable. It might be a number that keeps showing up. 111, 444, 777. It might be a song that plays at the exact moment you needed to hear it. It might be a message from someone you haven't heard from in months. It might be a dream so vivid you wake up knowing it wasn't random. It might be a sudden calm that washes over you in the middle of chaos. Whatever it is, you'll know. Your spirit will recognize it, and when you see it, don't brush it off. Don't tell yourself it's coincidence. Say this instead. Thank you. I see you. I receive this as confirmation that my breakthrough is already in motion, because it is, my child. It's not coming. It's already here. It's already moving. It's already rearranging things in the unseen so they can show up in the seen. And these next 7 days are the bridge between where you are and where you're going. Now, before I take you into the next part of this message, I need to make sure you don't miss what's coming, because what I'm about to tell you is the most important part. The part where heaven reveals why the call came today and what's about to happen in your life in the next 48 hours. But if you're not subscribed to this channel, you might miss the follow-up message that's already being prepared for you. So here's what I need you to do. Click that subscribe button right now. Not because I need another subscriber, but because you need to stay under the sound of this word. Subscribing isn't just a click. It's a spiritual act. It's you saying, I want to keep hearing what heaven is saying. I don't want to miss the next message. I don't want to lose the thread when my mind gets heavy again. Because it will get heavy again, my child. That's not negativity, that's reality. The enemy doesn't give up just because you had one good moment. He waits. He watches. And when you're weak, he whispers the same old lies. You're alone. You're forgotten. Nothing's going to change. But when you're subscribed, when you stay connected to this stream of prophetic encouragement, you have a reminder waiting for you. A voice that cuts through the noise and says, no, that's not true. Heaven hasn't forgotten. Your breakthrough is still coming. Don't you dare give up now. So subscribe. Turn on notifications, because the next message is going to reveal the exact timing of your shift, and you don't want to miss it. Now, my beloved child, take one more breath. You've done everything I asked. You typed Amen. You shared this message with someone who needs it. You placed your hand on your heart and declared peace, clarity, and help over your life. You're watching for your confirmation sign. And you're subscribed so you don't miss what's next. That's obedience. That's alignment. That's faith in action. And heaven is responding. Even now, as you listen, things are shifting. Doors are unlocking. Angels are moving. The timeline of your breakthrough is accelerating. You can't see it yet, but you will. In the next few days, you're going to look back on this moment and say, that's when it started. That's when everything changed. So don't scroll now. Don't leave. Because what I'm about to tell you next is the divine verdict. The courtroom decision. The moment when heaven declares over your life, enough delay, enough suffering, enough waiting. It's time. Stay with me, my child. Your vindication is about to be spoken out loud, and you need to hear every single word.